Okay, in yesterday's video, we talked about the different kinds of object and reflexive pronouns that you've been using all along without formally analyzing the differences between them. Today, we're going to take a look again at where they go in a sentence. Your ear is going to help you know where to put them from phrases you already know, phrases like lo siento or me llamo, where it's in front of a conjugated verb, or attached to something like tengo que irme, attached to an infinitive there. Sorry, in front of a conjugated verb, or it could be attached to an infinitive, depending on the setup. So we're going to see if you can discern where they go. Just to recap yesterday's video, we said we put indirect and directs in front of conjugated verbs. But if you have an infinitive phrase, you may attach if you want to, like quiero comerlo, lo quiero comer. I have an infinitive there. Also, ing forms, same thing. So I am eating it. Estoy comiéndolo, or lo estoy comiendo. And then at the very end of the video, I mentioned commands. So an affirmative command means do it. Cómpralas. Las is attached. A negative command, no las compres, goes in front of a negative command. That's quite a bit harder. So take a minute and decide where you think a may would go in a sentence. I've left the may out. It reads, Elena dijo ayer que no va a venir a la fiesta. But which it would be a fine sentence. But I want to add, she told me. Where would I put it? I'm going to let you decide that. Okay, well, I have a single conjugated verb, so I actually need to put it all the way back here. Elena me dijo. Can I put it anywhere else in that sentence? No, I can't. I don't have an affirmative command like dímelo, tell it to me. That would be a command, and I would attach the may. I just have a single verb, and I have to go in front. I don't have an infinitive or ing. Okay, how about number 2? If you like salsa music, I think this song is going to please you. We're going to add 2 te's, but let's start with this first line first. Where would I put the te? I know you know this one. Si, and the a ti is optional here. Si a ti te gusta la música salsa, creo que esta canción. Now we're going to add another te. Where do you think it could go? If you guessed that it could go either here or here because you have an infinitive, you are correct. Both would be correct. Te va a gustar or va a gustarte. I wouldn't put it twice, but you can have your pick there. Okay, so that's in a verbal phrase is what I call that. Some people call that an infinitive phrase. It has an infinitive with an R, whereas this was a single conjugated verb in both cases here. ¿Quién normalmente prepara la cena en tu casa? Mi madre. Where would I put la? And what if I changed, well, go ahead and do that one. Mi madre la prepara. What if I changed it, though, to say my mother normally, that means like normally tends to prepare it. And now I have a verbal phrase with an infinitive. Where could I put la? If you guessed I have a choice, you were right. I could say mi madre la suele preparar or mi madre suele prepararla. By the way, these are directs because they're directly receiving the action. And it's going to please you. Please always uses indirects. It seems like, just take my word on that one. And here, she told me yesterday, this is what she told me, but to me, this is an indirect also. Okay, commands. Depends if we have affirmative or negative commands. Por favor, profe. I want to add, explain it to us again. Where would I put these? Explícanoslo otra vez. Yeah, I have to attach it because it's affirmative. Now, on the other hand, a negative command, I think you know this phrase. No me digas, you don't say. I have to put it in front because it's a negative command. But if I said, tell us the truth, dinos la verdad, or maybe you've heard the song Dime or Dímelo. In fact, we're going to look at a song now called Dímelo, and I just want you to notice where the words go. Okay, here I've got a me attached to an infinitive. I could have also put it in front of the whole verb phrase. Yo no me puedo, since that's attached to as a verb phrase. Or how about this one? Quiero escaparme, or I could have put me quiero escapar. So those blue represent verbal phrases. The yellow here represents a single conjugated verb. Me quedo. I'm staying right here. Me quedo. Here I've got ing and I attached it. So ando, ing with a te. Here I've got a positive command, tell me it, all attached. I have command and then indirect and direct objects. We also said that that is true for reflexives. If you have an infinitive, you can attach. Otherwise, we normally put them in front. So just some examples here you can take a look at from Spanish 2. Now for the really big challenge, and I am indebted to Barbara Nelson's Spanish page for this activity, choosing a direct versus an indirect in a sentence. What do you notice is the big difference between a le and a la, or a le and a lo? It has to do with the object of the verb, and that's what I'm going to help you discern. Okay, first of all, I want to say that this is pretty tricky. Your ear will eventually just pick up on this. Hey, if you get this wrong, by the way, leísmo is really a thing. Large portions of Spain have a tendency to use le, where really it should be a direct object. So that is a regional dialect. And I guess if you ever notice that somebody isn't following the rules, they might be from Spain. But leísmo aside, we're going to try and grammatically determine the difference here. So I've got some sentences, thanks to Barbara Nelson and her video, really, or her website, which you can go to practice these. But I wanted to walk you through them. I see her in the supermarket. Is it a le or a la? What do you think? Well, the key is find the verb first of all. I see, I'm the subject, by the way, and my subject and verb agree. I see what or whom. Who or what got directly verbed? Who or what was seen? She was seen. So that's a direct object. I need a la, not a le. So if you guessed by your ear that la was correct, good job. Maybe you had no idea. She sends him a telegram. Okay, sends what or whom? Sends a telegram. To whom? Now I have an indirect, so this one's a little different than the other one, right? So what if I said she sends it to him? Okay, now I have that taken away, and I'm going to change she sends him it. When I have double, that it would be what? Since it's un telegrama, I believe I would need lo, I think it's right, but direct anyway would be the it. But the le here represents to him. And we'll do doubles in a little bit. I'm going to undo that for now. And let's look at number 3. Luisa loves him madly. What do you think the word should be? Lo, because she directly loves him, right? Whereas this one's a little different. She wasn't sending him in the mail. She was sending a telegram to him. So it'd be funny if she was sending him in the mail. Loves him, that is direct. So le and lo, so they're both him in English, but we need to be able to tell the difference. This might seem hard, but you really don't have to think that deeply. Just ask, like when you're reading a sentence, el agente prepara el itinerario, not a word I use a lot, prepares, what is being prepared? The itinerary. So if you see that something else is the recipient, then you just go with the les, right? But someone is visiting them on Tuesdays, someone visits them on Tuesdays. So visits what or whom? visits them. That would be the direct in that case. Because Tuesday is irrelevant. It's not what's being visited. That just tells when. That's an adverb. So I could take that out of the sentence. Someone's visiting them, or someone visits them. That's the direct there. Whereas this one, preparing the itinerary for them. Okay, well, I think then the other videos we'll watch, you'll see that, so you don't have to master this yet, but I just wanted to sort of explain it before we got into the next thing. So these are directs and these are indirects, and the big difference is me versus to me, you versus to or for you, him versus to him or for him. Sometimes the to him or for him is implied, though. It's not like you can rely on your English here. You really have to think in Spanish, because in English here, she buys it for him, she buys it, and for him is the indirect. You can't just say, well, it's got to have a for him to be an indirect, because I can, in English, switch these orders, and then it's she buys him it. These both mean the same thing in English, and they're both correct in English. We have a tendency in English to put, we sometimes put indirect, direct, and other times we put direct, indirect. We're just not consistent. And when we do it in this order, we include a to or for. And if we put it in the other order, we don't. English, I've taught English to Spanish speakers, and it's really difficult. Believe it or not, English is just as hard as the Spanish is in some regards. Okay, I'm going to let you spend some time trying it with Barbara Nelson, and just send me a screenshot to show that you've done it. And hopefully this just helps you tell the difference between directs and indirects as we prepare for tomorrow's lesson when we do doubles together with Senor Jordan.